Hey folks, in today's Conundrum we will cover the case of James Dale Ritchie, an American serial killer who perpetrated a series of chilling crimes in Anchorage, Alaska in 2016. With a gruesome tally of over 5 victims, his attacks primarily occurred in parks and along bike paths, casting a shadow over the city's tranquil spaces. Ritchie operated exclusively at night, often choosing the cover of midnight or shortly thereafter to carry out his heinous acts. However, his reign of terror was brought to an end during a confrontation with the police in downtown Anchorage on November 12, 2016. Following his demise, investigators discovered a Colt Python handgun in his possession, which provided a crucial link to the string of murders committed over a span of 2 months. Welcome back to Conundrum, where we delve into the minds and history of serial killers. If you like this type of content, please subscribe, and put the notifications bell on so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Thank you for being here. James Dale Ritchie, born on November 4, 1976, had a complex personal history that eventually led to his involvement in a string of horrifying crimes. Growing up in Anchorage's Wonder Park neighborhood, Ritchie attended East Anchorage High School, where his athletic prowess made him stand out among his peers. He played alongside future professional athletes Trajan Langdon and Mao Tosi on the state championship football and basketball teams in 1994. During his teenage years, Ritchie became close friends with Quincy and Bobby Thompson, finding solace and support in their family. However, tragedy struck when Quincy passed away. Shortly after, Ritchie's connection with the Thompson family gradually faded, and he lost touch with them. After a brief stint at West Virginia University, Ritchie dropped out and returned to Alaska in 1995. It was during this time that he became involved in illicit activities, including drug dealing and dogfighting. Adopting the street name Tiny, Ritchie faced multiple arrests over the next 7 years, primarily for drug-related offenses. In 2005, he was apprehended during a home invasion, armed with plastic handcuffs and 2 handguns. After serving a 2-year sentence, Ritchie remained in Alaska and acquired a Colt Python handgun. In 2013, Ritchie temporarily relocated to Broadway, Virginia, where his parents resided. Apart from minor traffic violations, he had no further encounters with the law and was considered a law-abiding citizen by local authorities. However, following a breakup with his girlfriend, Ritchie returned to Alaska in March 2016. He regained possession of the Colt Python and settled in different areas of Anchorage, including Airport Heights and the Penland Parkway Trailer Park. Seeking mental health treatment, it remains unclear whether Ritchie received a formal diagnosis. This turbulent personal history provides insight into the factors that may have contributed to James Dale Ritchie's later involvement in the chilling series of crimes that would haunt Anchorage in the coming months. Between the dates of July 3 and August 28, James Dale Ritchie embarked on a series of chilling murders that shook the city of Anchorage, Alaska. The first confirmed victims were Brianna Foisey, a 20-year-old homeless woman, and Jason Netter Sr., a 41-year-old with a history of run-ins with the law. Their bodies were discovered together along a bike path near Ship Creek. The murders took place in the early morning hours of July 3, 2016. The relationship between Foisey and Netter remains unclear. The case was officially declared a double homicide by the Anchorage Police Department, APD, on July 5. Surveillance footage led to the release of images of 2 unidentified persons of interest in the investigation. Approximately 26 days later, on July 29, Ritchie committed his 3rd recorded murder. Travian Kendall Thompson, the 21-year-old son of Ritchie's childhood friend Bobby Thompson, was fatally shot multiple times while riding his bicycle home from work. Witnesses spotted Ritchie near the crime scene, and a composite sketch of the suspect, later confirmed to be Ritchie, was created. The same murder weapon used in the previous killings was determined to have been used in Thompson's murder. On August 28, Ritchie struck again, this time in Valley of the Moon Park. Kevin Turner, a 34-year-old homeless man with mental health challenges, and Bryant Bree DeHusen, a 25-year-old environmental activist, became his victims. Their bodies were discovered by a passerby in the early hours of the morning. The Alaska State Crime Lab confirmed that the murder weapon used in their deaths was the same as in the previous murders. As the APD recognized the pattern emerging from the string of murders, an advisory was released, warning citizens to avoid isolated trails after dark. The FBI joined the investigation, and Anchorage Mayor Ethan Berkowitz attributed the city's record-breaking number of murders to gang violence, refusing to acknowledge the serial killer theory. The FBI offered a $10,000 reward specifically for information leading to the arrest of the suspect responsible for Thompson's murder. The joint APD and FBI task force received numerous tips, including some related to Ritchie. Mandy Primo, Thompson's mother, conducted her own investigation, claiming to have spotted Ritchie armed near a hospital and reported her findings to the APD lieutenant. These events marked a period of fear and uncertainty in Anchorage as law enforcement agencies and the community worked diligently to apprehend the serial killer responsible for the series of tragic murders. On November 12, 2016, James Dale Ritchie's reign of terror came to a violent end in a deadly gunfight with Anchorage Police Department officers. The confrontation unfolded near the corner of 5th Avenue and Cordova Street in Anchorage. Officer Arne Salau and Sergeant Mark Potsky encountered Ritchie during the early hours of the morning while responding to a report of unpaid taxicab fares. Officer Salau, spotting Ritchie walking down the street, approached him and requested him to stop. Ritchie ignored the command and continued walking, prompting Officer Salau to repeat his request through a megaphone. Suddenly, without warning, Ritchie turned, approached Officer Salau's vehicle, and unleashed a barrage of gunfire from his Colt Python revolver. Officer Salau was struck 6 times, sustaining severe injuries to his bones, intestines, and liver. Despite his wounds, Officer Salau fought back, returning fire and engaging in a physical struggle with Ritchie. Sergeant Potsky, witnessing the encounter, also opened fire on Ritchie, ultimately delivering the fatal shots that ended his life. Officer Salau was rushed to a nearby hospital, where he underwent extensive surgery and eventually recovered from his injuries after spending hours in the intensive care unit. Following Ritchie's demise, the investigation took a significant turn. The Colt Python found on his person was sent to the Alaska Crime Lab, where it was confirmed to be the murder weapon responsible for the deaths of Brianna Foisey, Jason Netter Sr., Travion Kendall Thompson, Kevin Turner, and Bryant DeHusson. The police task force, initially unaware of Ritchie's involvement, discovered the connection between the homicides and the attempt on Officer Salau's life. However, they had deliberately withheld this information from the public to prevent Ritchie from disposing of the weapon. The Colt Python, unregistered to Ritchie, had been purchased in 1971, and investigators sought to determine how it ended up in his possession. Ritchie was quickly identified as the assailant responsible for Thompson's murder, as witnesses and photo identification matched the composite sketch. As the investigation progressed, more evidence emerged, linking Ritchie to the other murders tied to the Colt Python. Meanwhile, the FBI delved into Ritchie's activities in Virginia and Nevada before his return to Alaska in 2016. On April 26, 2017, the Anchorage Police Department announced that sufficient probable cause had been established, confirming Ritchie as the sole perpetrator behind the 5 murders and officially labeling him a serial killer. The investigation concluded, closing the cases. A month later, on May 23rd, dashcam footage preceding the confrontation between Ritchie and Officer Salau was released, along with details about Ritchie's personal history, shedding further light on the tragic events that had unfolded. Let us not forget the victims whose lives were tragically cut short by James Dale Ritchie's heinous acts. Brianna Foisey, Jason Netter Sr., Travion Kendall Bobby Dwayne Thompson, Kevin S. Turner, and Bryant C. DeHusson. Their memory serves as a reminder of the devastating impact of senseless violence. May they rest in peace. Thank you to all who have stuck with me until the end of the video. All small creators like me have certain goals in mind when we embark on this journey, and reaching 1/4 of that goal is my first significant milestone. Since we all share a common interest in similar topics, my idea is to organize a giveaway for a 1-year Curiosity Stream subscription plan once we reach 250 subscribers. This giveaway will serve as a token of appreciation for your support thus far. I'm genuinely grateful to have you all here with me. Comment down below if you have any recommendations for my future uploads. I am Alex, and this was Conundrum. Stay curious and stay safe.